Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be talking about an article that I read on the news recently, and I think it was either a Independent or a Daily Mail. I can't remember exactly where it was from, but I will leave the link for the article in the description box down below. But it was an article that basically made me very angry, and I don't get angry with news articles a lot. I can feel frustrated about them, but not a lot of the articles impact me. So I don't usually get angry, but this article made me furious with the physical and the mental health system. So if you'd like to find out more about this article, then please stay tuned, but we're going to go ahead and get started.
And trying to remain so strong, I know it's good if I'm alone. I got it, I gotta go, run.
So I printed off the article so that I could go through it with you guys, but basically the title of this article is NHS Trusts Criticised Over System That Films Mental Health Patients in Their Bedrooms. So let that sink in for a second. Imagine for a second you have been just admitted because you're depressed, or you've been admitted because you need support for your mental health into a psych ward. Psych wards are supposed to be somewhere that is safe and that you're looked after. But now, the fact they're putting cameras in bedrooms, you start feeling like it's an invasion of your privacy. And it is. So how do you feel? How do you feel that you can't go anywhere to escape the watch of staff? I mean, I myself, being someone who has been in psych ward several times, I could understand the need to keep an eye on patients, but there doesn't need to be cameras. There doesn't need to be cameras watching someone's moves in their bedroom. Like, you can understand having cameras in communal areas and corridors, but bedrooms? So this article enraged me because I was sitting there thinking, it doesn't matter whether you're sectioned or whether you're informal, they're in all the bedrooms. So you could be informal and you could have the capacity to know the cameras are there, and you could have the capacity to understand the reason why cameras are there, but it doesn't make you feel any less invaded of your privacy. Not to mention the fact that these cameras, who are they being viewed by? Who is viewing these cameras? And are they viewing them solely for the purpose of looking after you? You never know. You never know how these cameras might have been misused. You hear about all the time of nurses and doctors being criticised over viewing indecent images or of sexual assault. Having cameras that can view patients undressing and dressing and opens up the fact that there's going to be so many more sexual abuse allegations. Not to mention the fact that these could be leaked as indecent images. Let's go through what the article says. It is to monitor their heart rate, their blood pressure, and the fact that they are breathing. So you can understand this, but if you've got staff that are visually able to keep an eye on the patient, and there's also, when you think about it, if you want to keep an eye on someone's breathing rate when they're asleep, there's things that babies use where they put like the mat under the baby's mattress and it keeps an eye on the fact that the baby's breathing. There's no need for cameras. Throughout the beginning of the article, it describes the reasons why that it's been said that it's okay to have these cameras. It says that it's a live video feed of the patient, which is recorded and kept for 24 to 72 hours, depending on the NHS trust, before it's deleted. But then I'm thinking, but is it really deleted? You never know. They say it's being deleted, but is it really? It then goes on to say that it's not like CCTV because staff could only view the video feed for about 10 to 15 seconds during a vital signs check or in response to a safety incident. So it says you can only view it for 10 to 15 seconds. But with the use of smartphone devices and the fact that we all know that even if psych wards, doctors and nurses shouldn't have their phones on them, you can't monitor and you can't make them not have their phones on them. So what if that 10 to 15 seconds is just about enough time for them to whip their phone out and for them to take a permanent recording of the screen watching the patient dress or undress? So is that justified and valid? I hope not. The article also goes on to say that the patient can be viewed in their bedroom, but not in the bathroom. And I'm thinking, yes, like you shouldn't even have them in the bedroom, let alone the bathroom. But it's saying that the feed can be viewed, and if the patient is in the bathroom for too long, it then alerts staff. The system doesn't alert staff. The staff have to check to to see if the patient's been in there. But if they can only view this video feed for 10 to 15 seconds, I'm in the bathroom for more than 10 to 15 seconds. So how does that show whether the person's been in the bathroom for too long? I'm sorry, but if I need my privacy to be in the bathroom, you need to think about human rights and human decency before inserting cameras. And this puts privacy and dignity of the patient at an all-time low. The article then goes on to talk about what Rethink Mental Illness. Rethink is a mental health charity, and it goes on to talk about what they think about these cameras. And it says, in quotation marks, while we appreciate that the motivation for putting surveillance cameras in people's bedrooms stems from the need to protect them, to do so without clear consent is unjustifiable, and this pilot should be suspended immediately. And I couldn't agree more. The fact that you can't put these cameras in a patient's bedroom, and because the rotation, especially in acute psychiatric units, is so much, you have someone who's there for a week, you have someone who's there for 2 weeks, you have someone who might be there for a month or 6 months. The amount of rotation of patients throughout the bedrooms, there's going to be no way of getting consent from every single patient that goes into those bedrooms. And then that's even without, when you think about if the person is sectioned, are they able to consent to having cameras in their bedrooms? That brings a whole new level to the whole sectioning within the UK. So the company that installed these cameras is called Oxyvision. And obviously Oxyvision is not to blame for this. It's about how it's being used. It says about the fact that there is system monitors that monitor service users 24/7. But there is no kind of set in stone thing that says to the person, there is video cameras in your bedroom. And from my understanding, they're also fairly hidden. So you could maybe not even notice them. Blanket use of surveillance raises issues for privacy, which is protected under the Human Rights Act. And as I said, it basically just says about the fact that why. But also, this is just on a surface level. They're talking about how budgets are low and how they can't afford to employ more mental health or even just in general nurses and doctors. Yet they're spending all this money on putting cameras and surveillance footage and things like that in the bedrooms. Why do you need to spend money on cameras which are now being criticised? Why don't you use that money to train and employ more staff to keep a better look on your patients? That's what I don't understand. It's almost like the budgets are being spent incorrectly. So at the bottom of this article, I want to take a few minutes to talk about the story that is at the bottom, the case study. And this is from a case study, and it says that it's not her real name, so I'm going to be just using the name that's in the article because it isn't the real name of the person. So I want to be able to read this to you because I think that it's very important for you to be able to hear this. So even if you can't read the article yourself, that you can listen to the case study. Lily is not her real name, who has schizotypical disorder and autism, became acutely distressed after discovering that she's been recorded by Oxyvision at Camden and Islington NHS Foundation Trust. The 26-year-old, who was admitted to the Rosewood unit based in St Pancras Hospital, which is dedicated to treating the most vulnerable female psychiatric patients, in mid-July after she became incredibly unwell and a danger to herself. A nurse came into my room whilst I was using the toilet and said, "Oh, you're in the bathroom. I couldn't see you on the camera." When I asked what camera, she meant that she claimed and she misspoke. I was later made aware of a poster and leaflet that had been placed next to the nurse's station, but neither of these mentioned a camera. It was a few more days before a nurse showed me the monitor they had in the office. It fed into my delusion that staff were intentionally keeping patients unwell. I tried to cover the cameras, but the staff stopped me, and I became so distressed that the response team was called. They nearly injected me. Staff still told patients that Oxyvision only took their blood pressure and heart rate and denied the existence of cameras. So a lot of patients thought I was having psychotic delusions. To be on surveillance 24 hours a day is incredibly distressing and dehumanising. It is a violation of privacy and dignity. This constant monitoring can make people who struggle with paranoia or psychosis even more unwell. I rely on staff to tell me if a thought is rational or delusional. I told the staff that the system was unethical and required consent. I don't think that this can be said any more better than what this case study shows. It shows that, we're trying to only put the most unwell patients in hospital. So they're putting the most unwell patients in psychiatric wards, which is saving the beds for people who really need them, which is fine. But if you're putting people in there, like this case study of Lily, with paranoia and psychosis, or people who are delusional, you are going to make them worse, you're going to make the stays longer, you're going to make them more unwell, and to the point where the trust, you go into a psych ward, which I've been in before, and you go in there knowing you can trust the staff. And if you've got a staff member who talks about a camera and then says she misspoke, but actually then lies that she misspoke about the camera, and then you find out that this camera's constantly watching you, it is dehumanising, and you need to have consent. But some people aren't able to give consent, and some people don't want to give consent. So how can you then assure that if they don't give consent to their monitoring for the camera, how can you ensure to that patient that that camera in their bedroom is not being used? This is an article that was posted fairly recently, and as I said, I will leave the link in the description box down below for anybody who does want to do further research on the Oxyvision's cameras that are being put in psych wards. But I just wanted to show how, from a recovered mental health patient who didn't experience being in a ward with cameras, I just wanted to say how it is dehumanising. It is an invasion of the privacy and dignity of your patients. These need to be stopped, they need to be removed, and you need to find another way to make sure your patients are safe. Whether it's, as I said previously in this video, putting a mat underneath or inside the mattress to monitor the blood pressure and the breathing of the patient whilst they're in their bed asleep. Whether it's only having cameras in the communal areas. But you need to make sure that you can keep your patients safe whilst also respecting the fact that they are humans and they do have their own right to their privacy and their dignity. So I hope this video has reached the right people, and I want to thank you first of all for watching this video. If you are somebody who is in a psych ward and you feel strongly about the use of cameras within psych wards, then please leave a comment down below and express your concerns via these, because if you leave a comment, you leave a like, and this video gets pressed out and pushed out to more people, hopefully it will hit someone's feed and it will show how the use of cameras within psych wards is completely unjustified. And if there can be more people supporting this cause and more people showing that the use of cameras is unjustified, it is an invasion of privacy and dignity, then if this does reach somebody who is able to do something about the use of cameras within psych wards, hopefully the cameras will get removed. So thank you again for watching, and please remember that I believe in you even if nobody else does. And I shall see you in my next one. Bye.
Just like you're young again, no, don't you cry. Just get back up again.